Holy shit. Hey, Joe.
So now, buddy.
Dude, I feel like, did we just go through a time loop?
Yes. 100% yes.
Okay. Because, man, I feel like it's been a minute. So, on that note, it's good to see you. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Safety Meeting. I'm Big Pat. We got cousin Joe. Tonight, we got lots to discuss, so let's get right into it. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Much has happened.
Hold on, real quick, before
Go
you
for it.
start, before you go on your little rant. Have a special announcement for everybody. Safety Meeting now has its first sponsor. This corporation called Safety Cleaners. It's a cleaning business out of the central New York area. If you have any problems with, like, your old lady's bitching at you because you got to clean out that attic, got to clean out that garage, the basement's all fucked up, they will come and help you out. You got that hoarder aunt. They fucking got you. Safety Meeting and Safety Cleaners are here to change the world one smile at a time.
Oh, word. I like it. Thanks, Safety Cleaners. That was a good hit, too. I'm fine. So, Joe, how do you feel about having one of those conversations that might get us kicked off the air?
Oh, I love those conversations.
Fuck yeah. So, Joe, tonight I'd like to, if you don't mind, I think we need to touch on a subject that everybody's too scared to talk about out loud unless you're a part of the club. No, we're not talking about tyranny. We're not talking about communism. Hell, we're not even talking about the Democratic Party. Tonight, I think we should tackle and talk about the LGBTQ community. What do you think?
I mean, what faction of it, though? Because if we're gonna break it down, bro, I don't care who you sleep with. That's your choice, right? That's your opinion. But it's
Right.
when I have a problem with it is when you come at it and you try to indoctrinate my children on it, and you have things such as the gay ABCs and things like that. Children don't need to know about sex, whether it be gay sex or heterosexual sex, until they're at the age of puberty, when they're biologically starting to say, hey, I like those titties. Hey, that boy's kind of cute. Why am I changing? Why am I feeling this way? That's when you have those conversations.
Dude, get out of my head.
All right. And then when you have things like the grown-ass man that is participating in women's collegiate swimming, I just think that's wrong. Science tells you can't change your chromosome.
Breaking every record in the women's, I think it was the 400-meter freestyle swim. Broke the record, world record. Biologically was born a male.
Exactly. He still is a man. There ain't no was a man. He is a man. Can't change that chromosome, bro.
Well, why do they allow it? In the name of equality? Is it equality?
I don't even really know at this point, man.
Is it equality for a man who is, let's say, in his mid 40s to wake up one morning and say, you know what? I want to be a female, put on a little dress and a blouse, do his hair up, and then go get to use the fucking the family bathroom at the mall? Or no, because you're still a man.
I think the dude on Dr. Phil put it perfectly. Just because you feel like something doesn't mean that dictates that's how the world is necessarily has to see you, right? Because if that's the case, because this is how we put it, I want everyone to when it doesn't matter who you're speaking to or what you're saying about me, you have to describe me as intelligent and handsome. Otherwise, it's not acceptable. That's fucking asinine.
Right.
I don't get to dictate how you see me.
No, let me I totally get what you're saying, but let me pause for a second and just let our people know, right? Safety meeting, we support life, we support people, we support each other, we support our communities. The heart wants what the heart wants. You're going to love who you're going to love, regardless of any outside influence. And we're not against that. Okay. We're all about love. Okay. We're all about people holding each other accountable and loving them, flaws and all. What I want to speak about, and what Joe is speaking out, and I'm not trying to speak on your behalf, is that okay? 20 years ago, let's just go off of that number. 20 years ago, people were still in the closet and they didn't want to talk about their sexuality because it was kind of there was a stigma to it, you know. People knew that people were gay, okay, and people were even willing to acknowledge it for the most part, but they didn't want it to be thrown in your faces. They didn't want it to be dangled like a golden carrot, trying to entice people to join that lifestyle. Because I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you're born gay. You know, you don't just halfway through your life go, you know what, I'm not attracted to females anymore. You know what I mean? You're born that way. You just didn't know how to understand what was inside of you. And listen, if you're gay, you're gay. Again, the heart wants what the heart wants. But so 20 years ago, it was still a stigma. People didn't really want to talk about it. Then a series of events happened on a catastrophic level across the world, from 9/11 to the war in Afghanistan to all these things that were bad things in the past 20 years. And out comes Obama. Now, good old Barack Obama, Barack Hussein Obama. What about him was so great, other than he kind of looked like he was a black guy? Well, he's best known for creating the LGBTQ community. He made it to where people who like people of the other sex have equal rights just like anybody else, which I agree to an extent. For sure, we all should have equal rights. It doesn't matter what you look like or what your preference is. But then Obama and that administration took that to the next level and got endorsements, and they were able to create their own flag, and they were able to do this and do that. And before you know it, this group of people who choose to put themselves in a category have more rights than the everyday man and woman. That's where I have a problem with that.
My only problem with it is when we take it to the point and we start changing people's genders. Because at that point, you're literally telling a person with a, and this is going to sound disrespectful to some people, but I don't mean it to be. You're literally taking somebody who has a mental ailment and you're saying it's completely fine, and you're justifying it, and you're just making you're making their delusion a reality in order to comfort them. That's my problem with it. Because you would not take a person that is schizophrenic and thinks that he should kill people and tell him, yes, you should. Or you wouldn't sit there and take the schizophrenic and tell him, yeah, the FBI is after you. You probably should, do whatever you were about to, whatever crazy shit you were about to do. Because we know that that's wrong, because that person is not thinking clearly. All right. And when a person goes through that situation, they're obviously not thinking clearly. There's something not right. I'm not saying that you're crazy.
Something hindering their judgment.
Yeah. I'm not saying that you're crazy or anything. I'm just saying that there's something going on in your life, or that had happened, that has changed the way your brain is functioning, thus giving you the delusion that you're not really what you are, that you were born wrong, that you should have been this. Because really what it is that you hate yourself for whatever reason it is. And you figure that if you change that little part about you, the world would be more accepting. I understand it. I understand why you do what you do. But what I'm just saying is, the world as a whole, we shouldn't accept it just based off of the fact that it's going to make that person feel better. Because sometimes doing something just because it makes that person feel better in the moment doesn't mean it's better for that person.
right?
Sometimes
In
it's
the
better
long
just to be blunt and just to be honest.
in the long run, it actually hurts them more than it ever should have.
Yeah, because they have actually found that a lot of people after they transition fully regret it. On some stage, at some stage, they end up regretting it. Just like a person that tried to commit suicide. They found that 99% of people that as soon as they, pulled the trigger, swept that knife, jumped off that bridge, whatever it was, they instantly regretted it. They knew they fucked up, right? So if these people are going to end up regretting the decision, and we know that it's going to have the just as much likelihood of hurting them, why are we not trying to find a better way to help them? Because us as humans, that's what we're supposed to be here to do, is to learn about each other and help each other grow.
Right. And when you say help them, you mean is help them understand what they don't understand, not help them as in give them a new direction to take.
Yeah, not like, send them to like some fucking Bible camp, but like they used to do back in the
Right.
day for gay people. Like, cause
I hear you.
I've had conversations like this with people, and that's how they've come at me, and that's not how I mean it. Like I legit mean like help you with your life, as in walk you through the path and help, we all just sometimes need someone that we can lean on and be 100% honest with and just tell them something.
Facts.
Because if you don't have that, then you're going to feel as if the world around you is crumbling, because you, at that point, you really have no support.
Okay. Yeah, I fully get that. I get that. But what if there's too much support? What if it's convenient?
I've said it 1,000 times on this show that we care about way too much about people's feelings.
Right. It's like, I don't know. Uh, should I or shouldn't I?
Just say it, man. We've already done said it. We've already been banned on YouTube once. It is what it is, man. We still got Spotify, Rumble, whatever it is.
Okay, so this is coming from I've been trying to learn an experience, or I've been trying to learn something. Okay, so my daughter, up until 2 months ago, was a perfectly happy, well, for the most part, happy preteen. Um, she had boyfriends, so on and so forth. Um, Nothing ever happens to be what it is. Okay, so spring, midwinter break comes just a little over a month ago, about a month ago. We're down there, and suddenly she's having this conversation with her mom. And she busts down. She starts to cry and says, "I don't like being me anymore, and I want to be known as something else. I want a different name. I want to be a boy." So immediately upon hearing this, you got to ask questions, and you got to ask the right questions, because let's face it, it's that pivotal moment in that kid's life where they finally got to the point where they're spiraling out of control in their mind, and they don't know what it is that they're feeling or experiencing. So any sort of attempt to explain themselves or get it out, is always going to come out wrong and awkward. So when you respond to these things, you got to pay attention and remember that when you're 12 years old, you don't know a whole lot about anything. You're right on the cusp of transitioning from being a dumbass kid to a smart ass teenager. But we live in a society where we have organizations like LGBTQ that are just force feeding their lifestyle and culture that they created upon all the youth. And for my daughter, who's always known who she is and what she stood for, to suddenly be questioning herself, just like you were saying, suddenly she hates herself. She doesn't feel comfortable in her own skin. And I can kind of relate to that in a small sense, because we all have moments in our lives where we don't feel comfortable with our physical appearance, and we become uncomfortable and insecure with ourselves. So like that I can understand, but I've never had an identity crisis. I always know who I am. So she wants to be called a boy, and we're supposed to be accepting of it. I'm going to be accepting of it because it's my daughter. But with my eyes and with my heart and with my head, I'm always going to see her as my daughter and nothing else. But the part that really chafes my ass, Joe, is that so after we had this conversation, we came back home from vacation, and that Monday that she goes back to school, she goes right into the school and she talks to her vice principal and then to her principal and says, I no longer want to be addressed as this name. I want to be addressed as this name instead. And the school was like, okay, if this is what you want, we'll get on the computer now. We'll change it. We'll put this as this. Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right here. Joe, how would you feel if your son or your daughter come home from school and said, hey, when I was at school today, I changed my name. And it's okay because the school said it was okay.
Well, Pat, I think you already know how I'm gonna answer this question. And I would straight look at my kid and say, you're a fucking moron. First off, your name is what I named you. You are a boy or you are a girl. Because I have, I have both.
Right.
So, and that's what God chose you to be.
That's your
That's what you're
God-given.
meant to be. Like, that's who you are. Those are the cards you're given. There's no changing that. Science even tells you that they can go ahead and they can cut off the reproductive parts that make you whatever it is, but you're still genetically a male or a female. So you can't really change that. Really, all it is that you're just confused.
But do you like, but I don't know, man. Girls
But
are
see, it's
fragile.
weird. See, it's weird for me to answer that question, right? Because on the opposite side of it, my 12-year-old, he views the situation just the same as me and you do. Because right after me and you talked about it, I asked JJ about if they've ever talked about it in his school and how he feels about it. Does he question anything? And he's like, I don't understand it. He's like, I don't understand the whole pronoun thing. He's like, none of it really makes sense to me. He's like, you're born a boy or you're born a female. He's like, you can be gay if you want to, but that doesn't change the fact if you're a boy or a girl. And this isn't me telling him these things.
Right.
Like,
It's
I'm
just
not one of those
his point
people.
of view.
Yeah, I'm not one of those people like that pound my beliefs on my children. If they ask me questions, of course I'm going to answer their questions that they ask because that's my job. But it's not like I'm sitting here every day and telling them, hey, these transsexuals really shouldn't exist. It's just not right. It's not fair. I don't talk about it. It's not my place.
Because it's not normal.
No, it's not normal.
It's not natural.
So why would I even it's one of those things, right? It's not really, it doesn't really affect me, right? Because I don't associate myself with it. I don't spend time throughout the day thinking about it. I excuse me. I don't let it bother me if you choose to do it because ultimately it's your fucking life. If you want to cut your dick off and become a woman or add a dick and become a man, that's all you. Do you, right? But it doesn't change the fact of how I feel about it but I'm not going to sit there and spread it, fucking tell everyone in the world, hey, this guy over here is a real fucking, got some real fucking issues. Cause what's wrong with you? Why don't you cut your dick off?
Hey, let me ask you something. Hey, how about let's sign ourselves up for mutilation.
Like,
You want to do some good old fashioned mutilation, Joe?
and my only problem with the with people as a whole, it's not really just like the gay community, really, is people have a real problem of when you ask them why, right? Like, because like I've said before, I like to go on Omegle. I like to meet random people and just talk. I like to have random conversations because I have social anxieties. And it was hard for me for a big part of my life to talk to people. And it helps me with that. And I, came across these two gay gentlemen the other night, and I just simply asked them because I've always wanted to ask. And I know gay people of my own that I could ask, and my family members and everything like that, but it just never felt right. These are two random people, never going to see them again. So they can lie to me, they can get offended, and it's really not going to bother me. So I just asked them, I'm like, why? Like, no, that's not even how I asked it. I asked them simply, I'm like, how do you guys choose who's top and who's bottom? Is it like a life choice change? Do you like, is it the same thing every time? Like, and they got offended. They were like, why are you asking that if you're not gay? I'm like, I mean, isn't that our job to understand people? Like, I don't want to sleep with another man, so I'm never going to know for myself. But I like to ask the question of why. So, in order for me to understand why you do it, I have to
Help
ask
me
you.
understand.
Exactly. I
Right.
have to ask you because I'm never going to experience it myself.
Right. And you'll find that with a lot of questions, a lot of people with similar scenarios. If you ask them anything, they're uncomfortable and don't want to, like, they'll get offended.
But you know what the
Right.
fucked up thing about it is? You go ask a drug addict why they do what they do. Why they do the drug of choice, they do the drug of choice. How does it make them feel? What do you do when you're on it? And they will answer these questions. But something that's supposed to be taken openly and freely, and we're all supposed to be accepting of it, I can't ask you why. I can't understand the workings of it without wanting to have it happen to me. Without being gay, I can't understand it. Well, isn't that kind of not the point of life? I'm sorry that I'm going on a rant, Pat.
I understand what you're saying completely, though. You make complete sense. It's like you ever just it's kind of like, okay, you go to a chicken barbecue and you see a piece of chicken on a roast or a rotisserie, and you think at it, you go, man, that is delicious. I can't wait to eat it. And then you get it and you eat it and you don't think about why, how many steps it took. How did this chicken get to this moment in time where you get to consume it?
But see, that's my brain though. But I am that person. And I
Right.
think about that
Same
every day.
here. I'm naturally inquisitive. I've lived the lifestyle of question everything, and that's never going to change. So
Yeah.
when it comes to a person wanting to change their identity and be another sex, I think it's just way too. I think it's way too convenient that it's happening on a global scale. It's not just happening here.
I don't think we
Now,
should be so accepting of it if these people can't give you a more of a concrete reason of why it makes them feel that way. Because if you ask a transsexual, I don't know what to call them. I'm sorry, I don't want to be offensive. So if you ask one of these people that have had
transgender.
that have transitioned, why did you transition? Why do you feel like the opposite sex? Or whatever, they're just going to tell you this. Well, that's why I feel it. That's how I feel.
Okay, so no, let's take it back a couple steps. So in my situation, it's not a situation, but in my home, what I'm dealing with is I have to be accepting, even if I don't feel like it's right. because it's not me. I'm not experiencing it. So I don't know what's right for her. She knows what's right for her.
No, no, no. I'm sorry. I disagree with you on that one. Because as parents, there comes a certain point in time in their life where we can start saying that you know the best for you. Our children have not hit that point yet.
But I'm saying, like, as far as what she feels, as far as her identity,
Think about
I think
yourself when you were 12.
uh, I was awkward, just like every other 12-year-old,
Not no offense, your daughter's awkward.
right? I know. She's
Just
the
like and
original.
just like when you were 12, she's confused. She doesn't really understand herself. She doesn't understand why everyone else around her views the world differently than she does. And maybe maybe she's into girls and she doesn't know why she's into girls. So she's like, well, maybe I'm supposed to be a boy. So she's trying to justify it in her own mind. But I don't think that our kids know what's best for them yet.
I agree. So you have to step you so you have to step in and really be assertive.
We
And at
just
that
ask
point in
questions.
time, you have to, like, this is my thing. I don't want my
After I
kid
berate
to
you, I'm going to ask questions.
after I just don't I don't want I don't want my kid growing up hating me for feeling like I never accepted her.
I think, unfortunately, we're creeping into a time and period in our children's life where, regardless of what we do, they're going to hate us for the next couple of years.
Absolutely.
It's just a part of being a kid.
If I don't hear I hate you at least 15 times, I'm not doing my job.
But knowing you, Pat, and seeing the type of father that you are, your daughter's never going to grow up to hate you because she's going to understand that everything you say to her and everything you do to her or do for her, not to her, sorry, is all out of love. It's all with her best interest in heart. So if you sit there and you call her Kyle or whatever name she has picked out, and you just said a boy's name, um, um, then yeah, go for it, bro. You're doing it out of love. I understand why you're doing it. Would I do it with JJ? Fuck no. I'm gonna look at him right there. I'm gonna look at him every time and call him his birth name.
And I call her birth name.
So, but like I said earlier, like I would also just ask questions. Ask her the questions that she asks herself. So that way she has to say these things out loud. Because a lot of the times with things we think in our mind, as soon as we verbalize them and they finally come out, we realize how fucking stupid it sounded.
But how does the school get the right to let your child change their
They
name?
they don't. The school
They
system,
don't.
the
It's
school
fucking
system,
stupid.
the school system believes that they literally have the right to raise your children. Like, I don't think a lot of people in this world see it, but within the next 10 years, the government's going to try to take all of our kids. They're going to, if they can't do it outright, they're going to manufacture a way to where they have to split up the adults and the children. Gut feeling.
I like to see him try. Joe, do you believe in I'm changing the tempo a little bit. Do you believe in black magic or dark
Absolutely.
magic?
Fuck yeah. Yo, my grandfather was a witch doctor. Check this out. I got a story for you before you go on your rant about him, right? Just to tell you how much I believe black magic is true. So my great granddaddy, like I said, he was a witch doctor, and this was back in the 60s, early 70s, right? So back when you could just get anybody locked up into a sane asylum, you could just literally take them, roll them up to a sane asylum, say this motherfucker's crazy, and they'll pay you a couple dollars. Like shit, around here in Syracuse, they'd give you like 50, 60 bucks bringing in a crazy person. But so they had him institutionalized once, and before he got set up, he looked at my great grandmother, looked at her, and said, "Loud, love me." there's a box in the attic. Do not open the box, because if you open the box, you're going to let the girl out. And if you let her out, I don't know if I can get her back in. So a couple days go by, and grandma being grandma, not believing him, saying, "Oh, that crazy man." Went up there, found the box, and opened it, releasing the demon spirit of this little girl. They had to go let him out of they had to go sign him out of the asylum so that way he could put the girl back in the box. I 100% believe in that shit, bro.
Black magic.
I believe
dark
our
arts.
language is magic.
I believe that our language is magic, no doubt. We cast a series of spells. I mean, that's why it's so important is the spelling. Because look at the key word, spell is in spelling.
Exactly.
Now, I think here you go. This is where I'm tying this all together. I think things that are like brainwashing or like reprogramming or like MK Ultra, things like that. I think they label it all these different things because they don't want to label it as magic.
I get where you're going from. Yeah.
So if there's all these things in our lives that ooh and ah us because they're unexplainable, what if that's it? Like, okay, so what if everything that these kids have been learning, all the stuff about the gay BCs, listen, kindergartners to third graders don't need to know about penis and vagina and the reproductive system. They don't need to know about transgender. They don't need to know about any of that shit. They're kindergartners to third graders. We're talking fucking 5 to 9-year-olds. They don't need to know about sexuality. They need to know how to wipe their ass properly, do their their math,
No,
and
I'm
learn
right
how to
there with you,
read.
bro. My kindergartner should not be on the fucking school bus in the mornings planning a wedding with her and her future husband.
So what if his spell on this world has been nothing but a series of spells for a long time, and that's how they've been able to get away with it? Now, I'm just saying this is a hypothetical, but at the same time, I kind of believe in it.
Bro, you ever seen Disney movie from back in the day called Halloween Town?
It sounds familiar, but I don't remember.
So Halloween Town was the basis of this family who their mother was like a witch, right? And they had this portal that went to Halloween Town where it was like Halloween all the time long. There was monsters, there was ghouls, there was everything, and they all lived in peace and harmony and everything, all this shit. What if we live in Halloween Town?
Or backwards land.
Like that
We're a
that's
mirror
why
image of the
that,
of the moon.
that's why everything that we speak is a spell. You know what I mean? Like they literally tell us this shit when they tell you that the things that you say to yourself when no one else is around, even in your own fucking mind, changes your perceptions of your reality.
Can raise your vibrations. It alter your frequencies.
Exactly.
Mind control. So, since we live in a world that's all about satire, propaganda, and just fear monger, everybody's so hypersensitive because of the technological advances and that we live in it every day. So, I don't know, man. I'm gonna just say that these things are like everything in life. There's moments, and this is a moment, and this moment, like all other moments, will pass. But we can't ignore that I believe the reason why we're at where we're at in society is because we've been manipulated for so long that without it, people don't know what to do because they haven't been told, or they've never had the option to think for themselves or to question their authority.
Did you know you could go to the FBI and request the records that they have on you?
You should have that right. We pay for them.
But I'm just saying, I think we should do it.
Where's our local FBI office?
I
Is there
mean,
one in Syracuse?
honestly, I think you can just fucking contact them. You can just call them.
We'll just ask them.
I
Hey,
don't know.
you think I
We're
can
gonna
get my
find out.
transcript? Could you send it to me?
We are gonna fucking find out, boy.
Listen, guys, again, I'm not trying to look, I'm just looking for answers. Okay. That's the only reason why I brought it up and why it's such a hot topic, because people don't want to talk about it. People want to only talk about it when it's offensive. They don't want to just talk about it in a regular conversation. People don't want to try to have an understanding of a world that they don't live in or experience.
Closest one to us would be Ithaca.
Ithaca?
Yeah. There's one in Ithaca, there's one in Albany, and there's one in Buffalo. Then there's a lot down towards the city, bro.
I'm sure there is.
There's one down in Newark, New Jersey, New York, Scranton, PA, Allentown, PA, Woodland Park, New Jersey, Philly,
Because New York and Philly or New York and PA are corrupt.
White Plains, New York, Williamsport, PA.
Seneca.
Oh, the closest one to Seneca Lake would be the one in Ithaca.
So we're gonna go there.
But it's right off the coast of what lake is this? Because it's not Lake Seneca.
Or we can just ask him, dude.
It's right off Lake Cayuga.
We can just ask him, bro. Like, let me get a. Could you send me a copy of what you got on me in the mail, please? Thanks. See, done. Magic, brainwashing, evil spirits. What's a good way to? What's a good? I got a good example of brainwashing, or forces, dark forces. But you got. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna lead with the Ukraine.
I got it. How to obtain my FBI records. You may mail your letter to the Federal Bureau of Investigations, and request record information. Said I can't read that word, but it's in Winchester, Virginia. That's where you got to send it. So you just mail them.
Fieldville.
You just mail them.
So just ask for it.
Records of the segment.
Oh.
The segmentation. Sorry, I was reading it in parts so that way I could figure it out, because this is not my first language.
Joe, you got any good examples of something being brainwashed, or how society's been brainwashed, or been a victim of a spell?
That's a loaded question, isn't it, man?
I know. Just give me one. Just give me one. We can take turns if you want.
All right, so here's one, right? I don't know if this really fits your criteria, but it goes with black magic. I believe That is the lost secret of how the pyramids and all these ancient structures that we can't figure out how they built, that they built them, right? That, or listen to this, pyramids. So if you could, do you know how what the main substance of concrete is?
Sand,
From where?
sandstone.
Nope. Nope. From the bottom of the ocean or the bottom of water, right? So like the Dead Sea, shit like that. So you collect enough of the sand, right? And then you pour it into place, right?
Okay.
And then you let it dry, and then you do that on the next level, and then the next level, and then the next level, so on and so forth, right? And then as you do it, you remove the planks of wood that you have separating it. And since the planks of wood are all the same measurement going up and in the same fucking line, it gives you a completely straight line and those perfect measurements that everyone's always fucking talking about. All they did was pour it. They didn't lift nothing. They didn't carry nothing up to the top of it. There was no fucking boulder. They poured it.
Okay. Or what if they used the Earth's natural vibration and they floated them up there?
Or what about this one? What if they found a way to use magic to melt the stone, pour it into place, let it reharden, bam. Then all you got to do is polish it to make it smooth again.
Mhm. Or maybe there's giants, and that's how they're able to get moved so much. Some of these massive giants that are now petrified in our mountains all over the world. The Nephilim.
All right. Problem with that. If they're giants, right? Why is the entrance to the pyramid the size for an average human to get through it and not for a giant?
I just had giants helping.
You don't remember the stories of in Enoch about how the giants were pretty much, eating humans, right?
Right, they're terrible people.
Okay, so how the fuck are we going to get them to do anything for us? We weren't trapping giants.
Okay.
Now that I say that, there is that one fairy tale that they tell you in school from back in the day, where they wasn't a giant because it was an average sized person, but he was attacked by a village of trolls and they all tied him down to the ground. I don't remember how it ended out. They,
Oh,
they all ended up becoming friends somehow. I don't remember how.
is it Oliver Twist?
I don't fucking remember, bro. This is
I
the
don't think that's
90s.
it. Okay. I don't know.
That was like 2 dimensions ago, bro. How do you expect me to remember that?
You never know. So basically, they've had the knowledge of how the pyramids are built for so long, but because nobody's given a thorough explanation, people have only speculated now for a couple thousand years. But the weird part is there's pyramids all over the planet.
On every
It's not
continent.
just in Egypt.
On every continent.
Yeah, somewhere in the ocean. They're underwater pyramids. I mean,
There's even one on Antarctica.
mhm.
You don't believe me? Use the internet to research that shit, bitches.
Last week supposedly the South Pole had a geological shift, and it went from its typical temperature to being almost 90 degrees above average for a span of about 32 hours. Thought that was kind of interesting, or maybe it's part of the brainwashing. So the Ukraine, Joe, I think the Ukraine is another MK Ultra experiment.
Why do human
think that
beings have such a hard time removing themselves from situations? Right? Like, like, like we'll sit there and we'll think about things and we automatically put ourselves into it, right? Like, well, this is how this makes me feel, or this is what I would do, or you know what I'm saying?
it's imagination.
Like, but I don't understand it, right? Because like I get the whole, how do I put it? Sometimes shit ain't got nothing to do with you, bro.
True.
Like the easiest way for me to say it, like without being elegant, because it's not gonna happen right now, because I'm feeling safe. Like sometimes in life, shit ain't got nothing to do with you. You just, shut the fuck up. But we all just feel like we need to talk about some shit. And that's how I feel like it is with Ukraine. It ain't got nothing to do with us. So maybe we should just shut the fuck up about it. Because the last time I checked, there weren't no one over there from over there trying to come over here and help no one out in these fucking streets.
It's facts.
Nobody.
Yeah.
We got homeless people. We got kids dying in the fucking street. We got people shooting up fucking houses here in America. Where the fuck you guys at coming here fighting for us? Shit.
Right.
The people that are going over there from America to fight for them, you're not even here fighting for us.
Yeah. Yep. That's kind of my thoughts about the whole thing. Is that it's like this, right? You're gonna think how you want to think, and you're gonna do how you want to do. But the audacity to go and say, I proudly stand with Ukraine and wave your blue and yellow flag everywhere and proclaim that it's out of injustice and you want to go fight and everybody should be creating a stink when for the last 2 fucking years, everybody's dealt with a lot worse than some, and you didn't fight for yourselves. So how are you going to go and want to fight for someone else when in the face of adversity, you cowered down and you put your fucking mask on? Just shut up, man. It's irrelevant. I agree with you, Joe. Sometimes in life, you just got to shut the fuck up. Do I live next to Ukraine? Nope. Or Russia? Do you?
Nope.
Nope. Not even on the same continent. So.
And let's just go ahead and throw this one out there while we're on it. America does not buy Russian oil. We get our oil from Alaska, from the Gulf of Mexico,
From America.
and from the Middle East, the people that we went and ran over for oil for the last 20, 30 years,
Yeah.
those guys. Why the fuck is Russia not being able to sell all their oil, making us pay more for gas? Shouldn't we be paying less at this point?
Brainwashing.
Like, it makes no fucking sense, man. No fucking
Magic.
It should. I have a 4-door Ford car. Okay. It should not take me $80 to fill my tank.
Mm-mm. Damn sure shouldn't.
Okay. Should not take me $80 to fill my tank.
Nope.
Shouldn't happen.
No.
All right. And then I'm just going to go ahead and say, call me a conspiracy theorist or not. I'm pretty sure y'all are watering down the gas because it seems to be burning a little bit faster than what it did a year ago.
It's a little more ethanol-y than usual.
Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, it just seems like, it just seems like I wasted the quarter tank of gas going from one side of town to the other when it's a 5-minute drive. It's not a quarter tank of gas. Drive.
True. Brainwashing. Brainwashing. You know what? A lot of people are waking up to it too, Joe.
All right.
I feel pretty good about it, to be honest with you. For the first time in life ever, I'm going to tell you, I'm feeling pretty good about the fact that people are really waking up now because it's personally affecting them. They're not just watching it on the programmer.
You ever seen the movie Undercover Brother?
Martin Lawrence?
Nope. Eddie Griffin.
Undercover brother. Undercover brother. No.
Basically, there was a man trying to take over the world with a chicken sandwich. Okay. He had a special serum that he put in the chicken that was a brainwashing agent that made everyone do whatever the fuck he wanted, was he brainwashed them. So let's reverse this back a little bit. If you remember pre-COVID, there was a big boom in the chicken sandwich race. Popeyes came out with a chicken sandwich, and then everyone else started coming out with chicken sandwiches. And it was like a whole big chicken sandwich rave. All these places having chicken sandwiches for the first time. FYI, people, was not the first time. I worked for McDonald's for a big part of my teenage years into my 20s. And we had chicken sandwiches like 20 years ago, spicy chicken sandwiches. So didn't Burger King. So it's not, Wendy's, everyone had it. It wasn't a new thing. But so let's fast forward. Let's go back to where I was going with this. So we have people that literally were waiting hours in line for a fucking sandwich from Popeyes. Okay. A place that before this, just like a year before this, a chick made a porno inside her local Popeyes. All right. So this is where everyone's lining up an hour to get food from. What if that was it?
Comes out with one.
Oh, Chick-fil-A had one before that though.
Yeah, but they come out with a new one though to compete.
I didn't know they came out with a new one. I just always known they've had chicken sandwiches. But either way, regardless of it, bro, like there was and now to the point to where they tell you that we have a chicken shortage. But if you go everywhere in any grocery store, any drumstick or chicken breast that you see is going to be double the size it was a year ago for the same fucking price. But we have a chicken shortage. But everywhere, every fast food restaurant, everything has a chicken sandwich and chicken deals. Taco Bell even started selling chicken wings. But we have a chicken shortage. But everywhere's about chicken. It's not adding up.
Everything is just pumped full of GMOs. And you guys are all lining up for an hour at Popeyes to get a chicken sandwich because it's going to be better. But it's about which group of people in society are more accepting of this type of GMO as opposed to this type of GMO. And suddenly you got a 20-year-old dude who starts to develop B-cup breasts like a woman out of nowhere. It's not natural.
Exactly.
So it's the food.
Oh, it's 100% the food. And that's why they killed off people like Dr. Sebi. Because he was telling everybody, it's the fucking food that's killing you.
You grow up with that. You grow up hearing that saying that the way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
It's true.
That was just another one of those spells.
It is a spell. Think about it. Any food that you sit here and you say, oh yeah, that's good. I like that. That's like one of my favorites. It's unhealthy.
True.
Okay. If you're sitting there and you're walking through public and you see an apple, doesn't make you hungry. You're walking through public and you smell fucking pizza, makes you hungry. All right. You see a pizza shop and you instantly go, I go for a slice of pizza. No, I won't right now though.
Man, I could go for some fucking pizza right now. Shit.
Like, so yeah, fuck yeah, that shit's a spell, bro.
Magic. It's in everything, in everyone. Symbolism.
Porn's magic. They're literally stealing your energy as you're watching it.
Right. So
Because
they're in the
because
business of harvesting souls.
let's be honest. While you're watching it, you're doing a certain activity, and once you complete that activity, they've completely sold your energy.
Facts. Because that's all they really want. They don't want your money. They just want your attention. Because when you give them their attention, they take your soul. One innocent act at a time, one image at a time.
That's why. That's why sex is like the real like that. That's like the real thing to really know if you really love someone, right? Because that's how you completely transfer the energy, right? Because there's certain times when you sleep with someone and you instantly know when you're done, I just made a fucking mistake. I shouldn't have banged that person. Like, I liked you before I did this, but now that
Right.
we've done it, it's just not the same anymore. What do I do? We've all had that moment. Well, maybe not Pat, but we've all had that moment. Um, and that's because the transfer energy was like, yeah, no, this isn't right. That was two negatives coming up against each other. That just doesn't work.
Right. Two wrongs don't make it right. But
Like,
two lefts do.
exactly.
Just saying.
Like, it's weird, right? Because you feel it, like you kind of feel it when you touch someone, when you like shake their hand or give them a hug. Like you get the feeling of, oh yeah, okay, I could be around you. You get that embracive feeling of this, if this is this person dominant or not.
Energy.
Yeah, you get their energy that way. But as far as like you're gonna take it to the level of like love and soulmate and who you're supposed to spend the rest of your life with and shit like that, because that's basically what sex is supposed to be for people, then that transfer energy is different, right? It's got to be, right?
It's spiritual.
Right? Because they even say that well, after you sleep with someone, you leave a small part of you behind them with them forever.
Yeah. Spiritual. It's supposed to be a sacred act, but propaganda.
Is that brainwashing though, right? Because think about this. If that was the truth and that's really how it was meant to be, why is it that when you see another person, you can find them attractive, right? And you get that urge of, ooh, I would fuck her.
Well, that's just the laws of
No,
attraction.
no, no. Because things that are truly meant to be monogamous don't have that. Penguins, right? Penguins, I'm just going to use for a fact. Penguins are 100% monogamous, all the way down to the fact of they find a mate, and let's say we mate, we have one child, or we don't even have a child, right? But we've mated. We were mates, and you die. I'd never mate with anybody ever again. I live the rest of my life without ever mating again because my mate is no longer here. That is monogamy. That's not humans. Humans, on the fact of, is a completely different. We are wired to pretty much fuck everything. Like they've even done studies on like things like monkeys and chimpanzees. Like there's a certain tribe of like I think it's like chimpanzees, right? That they are completely ran by the females, and which makes them unique. And the way the females rose to power was through sex. The way they use their power and the way they do everything is through sex. They want something, they fuck you for it. All the way down to, as gross as it is the children, right? Like like the woman will basically rape the children. Like, she's gonna go bang the little boy because she wants to bang the little boy. Not saying it's right. Before we go any further, this is just what the monkeys do. Okay. So if we take this into a step of what we were talking about earlier, maybe that's what they're using their brainwashing and their black magic and their real agenda is here. Right? It's a way of population control. It's a way of control in general. Right? It's a way of harvesting souls, adrenochrome, whatever the fuck you want to call it. That's what their agenda is. Right? They don't want us with our children because our children is the key to their youth and their longevity. Okay. Why do you think that for years they just used native children? Okay. There's almost 11,000 native children that have been found from these residential homes so far, and they still not even done like a halfway through, not even a quarter way through, checking just in Canada. All right. So the real number is somewhere in the millions, if not billions. All right. So they've been doing this for fucking generations and generations.
Just like Monsters Inc.
Like maybe that's what slavery was really about back in the day, right? It wasn't about the whole farming industry and all like that. It was about having these people that were fucking breeding and giving us the children that we needed for the things that we wanted in the adrenochrome or whatever the fuck it is that they're using, the fetuses. Like they've had this technology for fucking years, if not ever. Just because they ain't tell us about it, don't mean they ain't got it.
I love you, man.
It was a little gay, but why?
It's not gay at all.
It is because you didn't say
Because
pause or no homo.
because there was a time when everything that you just said, I've wanted to say. So like I literally felt every word of what you just said.
So you just
It's magic. That's it. It's magic. They want our souls. They want our energy. And if we're together, our energy is bright. It's like this, right? Society itself, everybody within them, inside of them has an aura. It has an energy, an essence. And our essence is supposed to burn as bright as the sun that lays on our head. However, through generations of being manipulated and told what to do, people grown to where the light only just bright enough to where it just exists and it's on and it's there. You can see it. And because you can see it, it's supposed to be glorious. But in reality, all it did was create a whole bunch of dim lighted people for a century. But now, right now, the human spirit is raising. Those lights are starting to shine bright. Things are happening. And if you trust in the energy that's within you, as much as you trust the energy that the universe provides, just know that it can only get better. And it will get better.
Nothing ever really gets better. You just find ways to cope with the things that you don't have.
Right, but the society itself has to establish a collective consciousness. And once that is achieved, and it can happen, and it's happening, believe it or not, it's happening. Even people who were just now waking up fully see the bigger picture.
Okay, so everything that we've talked about this on this show and everything that we believe, what makes you think that it's meant that it's supposed to happen? Because if the Tower of Babel was a true story, we're not supposed to have that collective consciousness. Because if we have that collective consciousness, we're just going to achieve that ever-long enlightenment, and therefore our need of being here and the whole process of being human to learn and grow for whatever spiritual and universal reason that we're fucking here is now irrelevant and mute, right? Because that's why he destroyed the Tower of Babel and made it so no one could connect. Because when we could connect, we said, well, fuck, man, we're just going to go back. Well, I don't want to be here. You get what I'm saying? Like, there is a time for what you're saying, just not on this plane, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Well, I mean, if you want to throw in some symbolism, like a week or two ago, they were showing that over in like the north side of Ukraine, they had something that looked like a replica of the Tower of Babel, and some Russian jets blew it up.
Like, I don't know, man. Like, had a lot of time to think. Spent a lot of time alone, right? So I have a lot of time to myself just to think. And I've said it before a couple times, just out of thought, not of really just being a dumbass. But I really think that it's actually true, bro. Like, I, I really think that all of us and our energies did something in a previous life that caused us to be knocked down to this universe. That's why this whole world goes through the pain and turmoil and the hatred and the division and the overall unhappiness of everything until you learn your lesson. Because until you learn your lesson, the universe just keeps on knocking you down and knocking you down and knocking you down.
And it's Groundhog's Day.
Like, it's gonna show you what you want right in front of your fucking face and then snatch it away from you until you learn your fucking lesson. I really believe we all live in hell. That's why religion talks about heaven and hell. Like, maybe not hell per se, but we live in that we're a maximum security prison right now. And the only other place down from here is death row, hell, the shallows. There ain't nowhere else to go type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then you have heaven, the paradise, the pinnacle of everything.
The eighth dimension.
Exactly. So
Christ consciousness is what they call it.
I don't know, man. Like, I just really believe that we are either living through hell or we are in a prison planet. We are all being punished, and when there's a lesson that we all need to learn, and until we learn it, your life is never going to change.
You must learn to ascend on your own.
Exactly. And you take your opportunities when the universe gives them to you, or you're going to miss out on them forever.
Right.
You have one opportunity in life to jump.
Hell yeah.
So you might as well fucking jump when you can.
Might as well jump. Yep. Absolutely.
So if you guys like this shit, just go ahead, hit a like, subscribe, stop being selfish, share this with your friends. You know, it's been fun.
I heard, I heard, not to like change the subject, but did you know that COVID was over?
I never knew COVID started.
Oh. Well, I don't think they've come on TV and said it yet. So until they do that, society will understand it. But they are happy when they get to go to their local Burger King without a mask on.
I still see everyone walking around with masks, bro. I seen a woman earlier, man. She was driving in her car with a mask on. She got out of her car. She walked into the gas station, paid for her gas, and then sat outside the gas station. All right, at the gas pump with a mask on, pumping her gas. We're outside.
All you can say is God bless you.
Exactly.
God
Exactly.
bless you. Have a good day.
Like, but
It's
hey,
the brainwash. Anyways, it's programming.
it's been a fun time. I don't know if you're feeling safe, but I am definitely feeling safe.
Feeling pretty safe.
You can check me out on that their TikTok from safety_meeting. This is Big Pat 007. We're also on Spotify, Pocket Cast, all that good stuff. All right.
You guys feeling safe yet?
I'm 100% feeling safe.
I'm
What
feeling
else?
safe.
There was something else. Can't remember it though.
Oh, I remember.
Fuck
Fuck
Tom Brady.
Brady.
Fucking bastard. How you gonna retire and then unretire?
He was
And
never retired. He
fuck
never
outta here.
retired.
It
People
was
just needed something to distract them, and they could do it to Tom Brady. Fucking cocksucker.
You know what? But it's okay because you guys remember when Brett Favre retired and then unretired and then played for the Jets, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then retired again and then unretired and then played for the Vikings.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember that? Do you remember that second season with the Vikings? Okay. That's where we're at with Tom Brady right now. Calling it right now. He will not finish this season.
No, he'll go to the Super Bowl.
Fuck no, he won't. Fuck no. Tom Brady is not finishing out on top at almost 50 years old. That man is getting stretched out on a stretcher. Someone's going to light his shit up and he's going to get a fucking concussion.
He's 43.
Still old enough.
44. Something like that.
44 and salt and peppery.
Yeah.
Just saying, salt and peppery in the NFL doesn't not go very well.
Make sure to share this with your friends.
That's right. Love y'all.
Be good. Be good to each other. Love y'all.
Fuck Tom Brady.